Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the earnings conference call of Rossari Biotech Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during this conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Anup Pujari from CDR India. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us on Rossari Biotech Limited Q2 and H1 FY22 earnings conference call. We have with us Mr. Edward Menez, Promoter and Executive Chairman, Mr. Sunil Chari, Promoter and Managing Director, and Ms. Manasi Nisal, Chief Financial Officer of the company. We would like to begin the call with brief opening remarks from the management, following which we will open the forum for a question and answer session. Before we start, I would like to point out that some statements made in today's call may be forward-looking in nature, and a disclaimer to this effect has been included in the earnings presentation shared with you earlier. I would now like to invite Edward Ji to make his opening remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Anup. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us on our Q2 and H1 FY22 earnings call to discuss the operating and financial performance for the quarter. I hope you all had the opportunity to go through our results presentation, which provides details of our operational and financial performance. We have reported a healthy top-line performance during the quarter led by increased volume of take across our businesses. Our HPPC business continued to deliver robust growth supported by traction in the FMCG segment. Additionally, antiviral and hygiene portfolio sales registered solid momentum during the quarter. In our CSC and AHN businesses, as the country moved to the unlockdown phase, we saw an encouraging pickup in demand, which supported volumes. Further, steady growth in the export market aided sales in the TSC division. On a standalone level, we registered an exceptional organic top-line growth of 95% year-on-year in quarter 2. This was mainly on account of strong client wins witnessed during the quarter. However, we anticipate the growth rates to normalize in the upcoming quarters. We are pleased to share that our recent acquisitions of Unitop and Tristar have now been fully integrated, and according to our Q2 FY22 results, include consolidation of Unitop with effect from August 26, 2021, and Tristar with effect from September 1, 2021. Coming to our profitability during the quarter, as you are all aware, there is high inflation in input prices across industries. Similarly, in our industry, we are witnessing pricing and availability issues across raw materials. This, in turn, has impacted our margin performance during the quarter. However, our earnings per volume ratio continues to remain at healthy levels. So, while the margins percentage has been impacted, our earnings per ton has been in a healthy range as we undertook suitable price hikes. In some of our older contracts, we are in the process of renegotiating for new pricing terms. We believe that should come into effect in a few months. This, going forward, should enable us to deliver healthy growth in total operating profits on the back of solid volumes. On the whole, we believe we have reported encouraging performance during the quarter. Going forward, we remain positive about the improving demand environment across our product offerings, supported by better macros and festive-led buying patterns. With a healthy balance sheet and adequate manufacturing capacities, we are well poised to capitalize on the upcoming opportunities and deliver strong performance in the future. With this, I would like to conclude my address and I now hand it over to Mr. Chari for his comments.
Thank you, Edward sir. Good evening, everyone, and a warm namaste from Rossari Biotech Limited. We have delivered a strong volume performance in the first half of the fiscal. Our HPPC business, as Edward ji indicated, continued to do record solid sales. During the quarter, our THC and the animals and nutrition business marked a significant rebound. Overall, we reported improved offtake across segments. Coming to our recent acquisitions, it is encouraging to note how our teams executed the integration in an efficient manner and well within our internal targeted schedule. The integrations brings immense synergies and growth dimensions on the table. Furthermore, as a fast-growing company, we saw addition of new team members from Unitop and TriStar. We all carry the same customer-centric approach and inclusive work culture, which is the ethos of Rossari's business model. All of us, as one team, are now working towards a primary shared goal of augmenting quality and accelerating growth of the company. We have already begun identifying and executing strategic cross-selling opportunities, which will further augment our combined performance going forward. Additionally, the integration of Romac Chemicals is also progressing as per plan. In the coming months, we'll be working towards seamlessly integrating this into our business model. Overall, with a blend of capabilities from all three acquisitions and with our robust organic business, the positive remains positive in the medium to longer term. On the organizational front, we continue to add talent to the senior management team and key roles to strengthen the foundation of our company. We are happy to share that the board has appointed Mr. Debashish Wanikar as the CEO New Businesses and Mr. Ketan Sablok as the Group CFO of the company. Mr. Wanikar will be assuming his role with effect from November 19, 2021 and Mr. Sablok from November 8, 2021. Mr. Wanikar has over 21 years of rich experience in key roles across companies of repute. In this newly appointed role, Mr. Wanikar, with his vast expertise, will steer growth, especially in the new lines of businesses of Rossari. Mr. Sablok has a rich experience of over 25 years across various functions in the finance domain. In his new role, Mr. Sablok will drive finance and strategic initiatives of the Rossari Group. We are confident that they will both add tremendous value to our company, and we welcome them to the Rossari family. To conclude, we are witnessing a strong recovery in consumption patterns, which should support volumes going forward. While inflationary concerns may continue to persist for a few more months, we remain excited about the longer-term structural trends playing out in the specialty chemical space in India. We believe Rossari, with its strong business model and a strong platform based on application development and formulations, is well positioned to tap the upcoming growth opportunities. On that note, I would now request Mansi ji to share perspectives on the financial performance of the quarter.
Thank you, Chari sir. Good evening, everyone. Let me provide you with a brief overview of the financial performance for the quarter. During the quarter, we have delivered healthy performance driven by improved demand and traction across businesses. On a consolidated basis, revenue came in at 384.5 crore as against 171.7 crore in Q2 FY21. On standalone basis, we registered an exceptional organic revenue growth of 95% year-on-year basis in Q2 FY22 and 92% in H1 FY22, owing to strong client wins. Going forward, we anticipate these growth rates to normalize in the upcoming quarters. Revenues from HPPC stood at 236.1 crore, contributing to 61.4% of revenues, followed by TSC businesses at 109.6 crore, contributing 28.5%, and AHN at 38.8 crore, contributing 10.1% to total revenues. On the profitability front, EBITDA stood at 44 crore as against 30.1 crore in Q2 FY21. EBITDA margin stood at 11.4% as against 17.5% in Q2 FY21. As indicated by Edward sir, our gross and EBITDA margins declined during the period due to raw material challenges. However, we are undertaking hikes to cover absolute raw material price inflation. This going forward should enable us to deliver healthy growth in total operating profits on the back of strong volume growth. Depreciation was higher at 10.2 crore owing to part capitalization of Dahej facility. Interest cost during the quarter stood at 1.9 crore. PAT during the quarter stood at 26.2 crore as against 20.7 crore in Q2 FY21. From a balance sheet perspective, our net cash position was at 35 crore as on September 30, 2021. Net cash flows from operating activities during the half year ended September 30, 2021 stood at rupees 13.9 crore. On the whole, the company's financial position is very strong. Over the long term, we will pursue all our defined strategic initiatives while always maintaining financial discipline. On that note, I come to the end of my opening remarks and would request the moderator to open the forum for any operational and strategic-led questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Anyone who would like to ask a question, please press star followed by 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Anyone who would like to ask a question, you may press star and 1. The first question is from the line of Anshul Verdia from Edelweiss Wealth Research. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. I have one question on the margins and the EBITDA per ton you have said. So we have seen a steep decline in the margins, but the EBITDA per ton has been steady and healthy, as you said. So could you tell me, is it because of the product mix? And what was the driver for keeping this steady? And second, since we are talking about the price pass-through in the upcoming quarters, do you see this metrics further improving going forward? Thank you.
Anshulji, good evening. Regarding the performance, we are very happy that the standalone EBITDA has grown from 30 to 37 crores. And even the consolidated EBITDA has grown from 37 to 44 crores. We have always been saying that we are focused on EBITDA as amount rather than a margin. The business has seen very good, performance in the last quarter. The raw material pricing has been never anything we have seen in the last 30 years of my professional experience. The supply chain disruptions and prices rising, on an every hourly basis sometimes in the past quarter. We have been, of course, able to pass on some, but we have not been able to pass on all, and there has been a lag. There is bound to be some pressure in this quarter also, but we are hoping, that this normalcy happens sooner than later.
Thank you, sir. I got it. We should be looking at the absolute number rather than the margins going forward. But could you, just a follow-up, so I see that the subsidiary margins and the gross margins were much better than the standalone entity. So any comments are the acquisitions doing much better or there is synergy kicking in? So on that. And secondly, any color on the guidance now since we are in the difficult environment in terms of raw material costs. So any guidance around the gross margin on the EBITDA for this year or a long-term basis, it remains the same which was earlier communicated. Thank you.
So the acquisitions, we are very, very proud to say that we have done very well in integration of the acquisition. We raised the money in the month of April, and from April, we did the closing, the finalization of acquisitions in the month of August, July and August, and by September, we had done the closing and now integration. We have been able to close the accounts in record time. Our accounts and finance team worked very well to reshape the accounts as per Ind AS, And then also the human, aspect of the integration, we have taken very, very good care. As you have told in the past, that we had taken, lessons on how to integrate acquisitions culturally. And I'm very happy to say that as the Rossari teams, especially the HR team, has done very, very well in ensuring that all the acquisitions company, employees do not feel insecure, and the performance is not impacted. So in terms of the month of September, Unitop did 27 crores and Tristar is also on track. We had a big EO shortage. EO is ethylene oxide, which is a basic raw material in Unitop and Tristar. We had a big shortage from Reliance. Otherwise, the sales would have been still better. So on a year-on-year basis, the September sales of Tristar and Unitop are better than last year, but we could have done still much better. We have still a lot of backlog of orders and capacity, which is pending. So in Tristar, we have done expansion of our capacities, and this, we've not been able to use at all. It is lying, idle, and we have orders in hand. Similarly, in Unitop, we have a lot of orders in hand. The demand is robust, but ethylene oxide, shortage is not allowing us to catch all the opportunities. On a standalone basis also, the Rossari, business has performed very well. As I said earlier, from 30 to 37 crore rupees already, we have this. For the upcoming quarters, what we feel is we need to focus on the amount. So as we said, that we had a 44 crore EBITDA amount, which is the highest ever in Rossari history. Even at 37 crores in Rossari standalone, it is the highest ever in quarterly profits, EBITDA profits in Rossari history. We would definitely, say that we would, maintain this kind of profitability or increase. We are now able to understand the supply chain logistics. We are able to now ensure that our raw materials are there in the factory and our customers get. You would also appreciate that if we see we have a 50 rupees product and a 50 rupees product does 15% margin, then it becomes 7 rupees 50 paisa. And then if you have a 100 rupees project, you cannot increase the margin from 7.5 to 15 rupees. The margins, would definitely as a percentage, not go up in the same level, but we would expect, better margins. Sales on a consolidated basis also we feel would remain, in this similar manner. We are confident of maintaining this on a consolidated basis.
Thank you, sir. That's really very helpful. Just last one, if I can. On the textile specialty chemicals, so we have seen a very good traction. So do you see this demand to be continuing, because we are seeing that PLI scheme and other government support coming to the end customer of this particular segment? So any thoughts on that? That's all from my side.
Anshulji, the textile, again, from April to June, there was a lot of pipeline which became empty. So like other businesses, in the last quarter, we had the benefit in the standalone business of the pipeline which was empty, which got filled up in the last quarter, and that is why we had bumper and, very, very big sales, which was more than normal in the last quarter. The textile business across India is doing very well. I've been saying this in the last 3-4 earnings call. You can see the results of even the textile companies. They are doing extremely well. The China Plus One, which is the strategy being used by retailers in Europe and USA, is giving us a lot of good benefits in terms of exports of textiles. Of course, the textile industry is facing, wherever there is, coal as a medium of, generating energy, they are facing a lot of trouble. But overall, the order position is full. The machinery orders from the textile companies to the machinery manufacturers is, in some cases, 2.5 years waiting period. So if you give a particular spinning machinery order today, if you give advance today, you will get delivery after 2.5, 3 years. So you can understand the buoyancy in the textile business in this quarter.
Thank you, sir, and festival greetings from our side, and all the best for the upcoming quarters. Thanks a lot.
Happy Diwali to you and all the participants.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you may press star and one to ask a question. The next question is on the line of Nishit, an individual investor. Please go ahead. Nishit, your line has been unmuted. Please go ahead with your question. Due to no response, we'll move to the next question. The next question is from the line of Ankur Periwal from Axis Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir, good evening and thanks for the opportunity. Sir, first question on the margins again. Now, I'm sorry I missed the initial part of the comment, so if it's a repetition. So we have seen on a console or on a standalone basis, sharp reduction in the gross margins. And if I heard you right partially, you mentioned that there will be an initiative to pass through the raw material, hike, the raw material escalation, which should sort of, bring the margins back to a similar level what we were working on earlier. So if on a standalone basis, maybe 35-37% average margin, or what are your thoughts there?
Ankurji, namaste. As we said that we are looking at protecting the amount of money we earn. So the EBITDA amount not as a percentage, but as amount we want to keep increasing on a quarter-to-quarter basis, and I think that is more important than a percentage. So this we need to see on a yearly basis, which is there. This quarter also we see the trend becoming better, but there definitely margins will be under pressure in this quarter as well. But in terms of consolidated EBITDA at the 44 crore level, we are going to maintain or do better definitely.
Sure, sir. And if I look at from a standalone perspective, so we have roughly doubled our revenue, but the EBITDA growth is only 24-25%. Will it be right to say that going ahead, this gap between revenue and profit growth will contract, even if we leave apart the margin side here, the percentage margins aside, but absolute growth in revenue and EBITDA should be largely in sync? Will that be a right statement? Let's say may not be immediate, since you mentioned next quarter may also be slightly weak, but let's say over a 2, 3, 4 quarter window.
Ankurji, the top line on a consolidated level in the next quarter would be similar or a little more also. But in terms of the margins as percentage, it all depends on the RM prices, raw material prices. Now,
no, sir. Sorry, I'll probably rephrase. So not on percentage margin. So as I understand, initially we did comment that rupees per kg margin is more or less stable. And if we are thinking of passing to the raw material, inflation further to the clients, will that rupees per kg margin increase? So in absolute basis, let's say if I look at only standalone, 95% revenue growth, and EBITDA growth only 25%. Will this number largely be similar, let's say 3-4 quarters out?
In terms of the consolidated basis, Ankurji, yes, the revenue would remain the same or even a little higher, as I said. In terms of amount of money, I would again reiterate that we had 44 crores of EBITDA. We will try our best to increase that 44 crores of EBITDA. So what you said is the per kilo realization remains intact or becomes better. That has been our focus.
Okay, sure, sir. And just last thing on the working capital side. Now, with this consolidation, there is a sharp jump in receivables, while payables also have an increase, but net our working capital has increased significantly. So any specific reason for this quarter, or what should be a normalized run rate on a consolidated basis?
So इसमें कैसा था अंकुर in the month of March, the standalone sale of the month of September was nearly 139 crores. तो आप सोचो कि खाली 139 crores का एवरेज अपने को सेल है और 2 महीने का उसको पकड़ेंगे तो 270 crore हो गया. But our gross levels are there. I think Mansi can add here.
Yeah, Ankurji, on a standalone level, if we see there is not much of a difference. In the month of March, the working capital cycle was approximately 54 days. Now it is 51 days. Of course, there is a sharp increase in receivables because what has happened is out of 238, I mean on a standalone level, debtors are 238 crores. But out of that, as Chari sir said, 140 crore, almost more than 130 crores is the revenue for the month of September only. So that has increased the absolute number of debtors, and of course in number of days per se there is not much of an increase. The increase is almost maybe 4 to 5 days on a standalone basis. On a consolidated basis, yes, there is a difference because as of now our newly acquired companies have a little higher working capital cycle. Of course that we will be regularizing going forward. So that on a consolidated basis is because of the acquired company.
Ankurji, when we went for the IPO last year, आपके पास बैठे हम लोग जब ये IPO का working करने के time पे, we had 150 crores average quarterly sale. We said that we will do the double in 4 years. अभी हमने एक साल में आपको 386 crore double करके दिखा दिया. तो I hope you are happy about it. Huh?
Yeah, sir. Definitely. Just the disconnect between the EBITDA and the revenue front. But yeah, nevertheless, congratulations on that, and I'll get back into the queue. Thank you.
Thank you, Ankurji.
Thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Dhruv Muchal from HDFC AMC. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, would it be possible to share the average utilization for the standalone business, say in for 2Q? I believe the two capacities is Silvassa 120 and Dahej 132,000 tons. So together, what would be the utilization?
In the month of July, we had 100% capacity, which was up and coming. So we have 252,500 as capacity. We have been now in the last quarter, we have had a substantial capacity utilization. So it is between 50 to 60% is the capacity utilization in Silvassa and Dahej.
Okay.
We still have a lot to go before incurring any new capex. So we still have capacity balance.
Got it. So 50% utilization, if I say that would mean Silvassa was anyways operating at almost, I believe, 90-100%. So
what we did is, we shifted some production from Silvassa to Dahej to take care of the modern infrastructure we have at Dahej. We have a lot of automation at Dahej which we have there. So to reduce the load, and then we also did debottlenecking at Silvassa. We did a Rossari personal care, improvements at Silvassa, and also the home care filling lines we added at Silvassa. So we have shifted some parts so that the load decreases from Silvassa. We also have, based now on the raw materials. So if there is acrylic acid, then all the production happens at Dahej, and if it is a personal care, then all the production happens at Silvassa. Similarly, animals and nutrition happens at Silvassa. So we have done reorganizations based on raw materials and end customers.
Got it, sir. So what I can come directly. What I was trying to understand is the 90% growth in sales, 100% growth in sales in the standalone entity. How much of that will be volume growth and how much will be pricing led? Because I believe there is a lot of RM cost pass through which has happened, and hence the pricing benefit, there is the realization benefit that we see in the revenue number. So just wanted to understand the split between volume and value.
So as we explained, the volume growth has been also substantial, partly because also there was a lot of debottlenecking happening in the supply chain pipeline. In terms of per kilo margins, it is intact or is definitely better. That is what I can convey to you from the figures I have.
Got it. Sure, sir. And so the second thing was on the growth. And in the commentary, I think in the presentation you have mentioned that the growth momentum will not be as high as the 2Q, I believe. So by that, are you meaning from a QOQ basis the growth momentum will be low, or from a YY basis? Because I was trying to understand that. I mean, will you continue with the existing run rate of, grow on the existing run rate of revenue, or from a YOY also the growth run rate will drop significantly?
No. The growth run rate compared to Y&Y will continue to grow very well, and even quarter on quarter we will see some growth definitely.
Okay, got it. I was a bit confused there. And so last thing is, again, you mentioned that this 44 crores of EBITDA that you have done, this can probably continue at the levels in the next quarter also. So, but what I was wondering is, the current quarter has only 1 month, and probably almost 45 days of consolidation of the 2 subsidiaries. So, in the next quarter onwards, you will have full utilization, full consolidation benefit. So, shouldn't there be a decent jump from even on a QQ basis, or are you a bit conservative in guiding for the EBITDA? I understand these are extremely near term, but just to get a sense.
Yes, see what has happened is the last quarter was abnormally high for Rossari, and this is going to normalize. And this normalizing with the addition of the 2 months in Unitop and Tristar, and that is why we are saying that we will do better than 44 crores.
Got it. And sir, one last thing is, I understand there would be a decent pricing, RM cost increase across your products. Then that probably is the reason also we are seeing such a high revenue growth. So, how is the market absorbing this price increase? Is there any demand pressure that you see, any demand concerns that you see from your customers?
At this moment, the demand pressure is not there, especially if you see the home and personal care and even animal nutrition and the textile specialty chemicals. The demand remains in the textile specialty chemicals in the corporate sector. So corporate, what we mean is which focus on the export market. So for the export market, the demand is robust, except if, where there is coal, which is a big problem, and this is especially with the smaller processing units. In the home and personal care, I think the bigger companies are absorbing the cost at this moment, and they will have some pressures in this quarter. But I don't see any slowdown in demand in the coming quarter.
Okay, got it, sir. Sure. Thank you so much, and all the best.
Thank you, Dhruv. Have a happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali to you too, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sanjesh Jain from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir, and thanks for taking my question. And congrats on a very, very strong set of numbers. It was phenomenal execution. Couple of questions from my side. First, can you just give us the number? What was the volume growth for this quarter? It looks like a phenomenal growth, and what does it mean in terms of our capacity utilization, and how soon should we require the capacity? That would be my first question. Second, on the demand side, I think the FMCG companies, our HPC category and customer, they are talking of slowing down in the volume. I think Unilever volume growth was quite muted, and many FMCG companies are commenting on the slowdown in the rural demand. I think just wanted to understand what is your discussion with your customer talking about the demand outlook side on the HPC category particularly. Third question on the growth within the HPC category. We were talking of acrylic polymer being supplied to non-HPC customers like paints and ceramic and paper and pulp. How is that picking up, and is that the seeding helped us to ramp up the capacity so fast? And again, within that HPC, apart from acrylic polymer, we were into the HPC category, both in terms of supplying the ingredients as well as the private label. How is that growth panning out? If you can give a complete outlook on HPC for us to understand how the business is shaping up. So these are my 3 questions. Thank you.
Sanjay ji, namaste.
Namaste, sir.
You would also be happy, आपने भी हमारा IPO किया, and you would have seen the growth which we have done. And in terms of the volume, we have more than 25% growth in volume. In terms of HPC, आपने बताया, तो HPC में we have had per kilo realization increase compared to the second quarter of the last financial year. Even in the textile, we have had improvement in the per kilo sales value realization. So the margins definitely have, are affected because of this raw material price increase from China. And there's a lag because आप अगर एक महीने का pricing करते हो और बीच में भाव बढ़ जाता है, तो we cannot go to customer again and again by रोज भाव बढ़ाओ. And वैसा कभी 2 दिन गिरता है. अभी एसिटिक एसिड का ऐसा हुआ संजय जी कि 105 रुपया था लास्ट वीक में और जीनस ने 12 रुपये गिरा 93 कर दिया. And within 3 days 2 रुपया रोज बढ़ा के 99 कर दिया. So this is last 10 days की बात कर रहा हूँ, 105 से 93, 93 से 99. So this is a seesaw which is happening, and we cannot go to customer every day. We are in specialty chemicals, so there is a lag definitely on passing on, and that is why we also believe that this quarter also there would be some pressure on margins definitely, and we just pray that the raw material situation and the supply chain normalizes from Japan, and if that happens, then of course our margins would improve. But as we have said in the past and always now, that the amount of money we earn is the focus area for us, not the percentage. And if we are able to increase the amount of money which we earn at 44 crore rupees consolidated, we are at the highest ever in Rossari history. And this is something which we are proud of in spite of these things. And as we said, that we have effortlessly executed. So execution has been a hallmark for Rossari. So for all the acquisition companies, we have done the acquisition, we have done the closing, we have done the integration, and even the accountings we have closed before the 30th of the month following the quarter. In terms of different verticals in the performance chemicals, which was paper, ceramic, paint. The paint, inks and coatings, as we said in the last quarter, is strong, but the home and personal care is strong. The other verticals still have not picked up because we still have not been able to go and meet the customers personally anywhere in India, because July and August were again, there was some uptick in the amount of COVID patients across India. Luckily, the third wave has not happened. In terms of sanitizers, the sales is steady. We have launched new products which is based on a nanotechnology for coating of surfaces, like the handles which we use in the offices. And we just have a first 20 lakh order from a big reputed hospital chain. And this opens a new vista for us, that even if there is for the future this kind of technology where the antimicrobial effect remains for 30 days, it remains, this is something, नहीं तो हमको सैनिटाइजर हाथ में लगाना पड़ता है, इधर आप डोर, आज मैंने डोर खोला, बाद में एडवर्ड जी आए, फिर मानसी जी आए, and then the antimicrobial effect remains there. So these are things which are there at the Dahej plant. We are working on new technologies. I think Edward ji can add here.
Yeah, so you were saying that whether the new businesses like the paint, the ceramic, the printing ink and water treatment, all these have picked up. Now, even in these industries, the major raw material is based on acrylates. So they were butyl acrylate and styrene, and the story remains the same. Butyl acrylate prices also have jumped from say 100 rupees, around 100 rupees to 225 rupees. So therefore, there has been a seesaw in the production at Dahej for these products also, and the margins in this case, because they are more flexible here, in that case we are able to we are able to pass on the margins easily in the case of paints and printing inks, as well as in the ceramic industry. What happens here is, in the paints and in the printing industry, there is a competition between acrylates and styrene butane rubber latex. So whenever the price of styrene butane rubber latex is lower, people shift to styrene butane. Otherwise, acrylates are preferred because acrylates are always lower than these products. What we've focused on in these few months are to improve our own products. So in the paint industry, as well as in the water treatment and waterproofing industry also, we've been able to add some products which have picked up sales for us pretty good. We've also done very well in the antimicrobial part of the business actually. So the antimicrobial business has increased. We've introduced some nanotechnology based on silver and hydrogen peroxide, where the sales for these also have picked up. We've introduced polyester resin from the Dahej plant in the last few months. So that's a new technology that we have introduced there at Dahej, where these polyester resins are in sizing operations, etc. With respect to Unitop, polyethylene glycols have improved, polypropylene glycols have improved. We have introduced certain polyols. We have introduced esters, and we are in the process of developing phenoxypropanol at Tristar. So all these new developments will also fill up capacities wherever the capacities are unfilled, basically. So that's the way we have done for the new businesses. However, as you said, very new businesses like cement or ceramic, we have not been able to visit, and therefore we are not able to take advantage of the seeding that we have done in the last year. But very quickly, our Dahej capacity is being shifted between acrylates to textile chemicals to polyester resin or water treatment chemicals. So this Dahej facility being flexible is also helping us. And now that Unitop facility has come very close there, and the Dahej facility, we are able to do some cross-selling between these two companies also.
Got it. Just one clarification. Is the 25% volume growth standalone we were speaking on?
Yes, standalone.
Okay. The second question which I asked was the demand outlook. Now that people are talking of slower HPC growth, particularly demand slowdown in rural area, are we seeing any impact of that on our growth rate? That is one of the reasons why we have cautioned out on the growth rate for coming quarters?
So we have not seen any slowdown, Sanjay ji, in the demand. In fact, we have a huge backlog of orders in Unitop and Tristar. Yesterday, the export head was saying, 2 महीने का backlog है sir. तो मैं बोला यार 2 महीने का backlog होगा तो मर जाएंगे हम लोग. So we have seen good traction of demand, and even in the textile specialty chemicals and animal nutrition, the demand is intact. We have not seen any destruction of demand.
Got it. One number related question. Can you give us what was the full quarter revenue and EBITDA was for the Unitop and Tristar?
We have the monthly revenue figures, Sanjay ji, but we can share, for the 27 crores. 27 crores was the revenue for the month of September.
And this was for Unitop?
For Unitop, yes. 27 crores for the month of September.
Tristar?
Tristar, we had a revenue of 12 crores.
Okay. And EBITDA margin?
The EBITDA in Tristar, I think Mansi can answer here.
Yeah, in Tristar, the EBITDA is approximately 1.5 crore, and in Unitop it is around 4 to 4.25 crore EBITDA.
Okay. Mansi ji, thank you. Thanks for giving those numbers. I think that's all from my side. Thanks for answering all the questions, and best of luck for coming quarter.
Thank you. Happy Diwali.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Aman Batra from Goldman Sachs Asset Management. Please go ahead.
Hi, Edward ji. How are you doing?
Fine, sir.
Edward ji, one question. This EBITDA per ton, which you are saying that you've kind of maintained, when do we go back to EBITDA, focusing on EBITDA margins, or now going forward, EBITDA per ton would be the metric we should look at?
Manji, that's such a forward-looking question, actually. So what we see from the market, that margin pressure will continue at least in this quarter. So at least for this quarter, we will focus on volume of EBITDA that we earn, and then once that normalizes, then we will focus on the percentage of EBITDA margin. So we have visibility for this quarter, and in this quarter, definitely there is pressure on margins. In the coming quarter, there is a case for reduction in the raw material prices where it will then directly hit the EBITDA. Now what has happened is the revenue has grown and the fixed cost has remained the same, and therefore still our EBITDAs we are able to manage. But this will change in the next quarter for sure.
Understand. This is helpful. And the volume growth you mentioned 25% for the standalone in this quarter. Can you give volume growth for the first half?
No, I didn't get a question. Charity?
Can you repeat the question, Amanji?
No, the volume growth you mentioned was 25% for the standalone for this quarter. What would be the volume growth for the first half?
We do not have figures on the volume specifically, but we can share, later. But it has been a substantial growth in volumes, both on standalone and in the consolidated figure, the Unitop and Tristar, we had, the problem of ethylene oxide shortage, and hence the volume growth in Unitop and Tristar is not very high. But in Rossari, it has definitely been very, very high, and that is because, Amanji, it was because of the pipeline being vacant, pipeline being empty.
Sure. Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanji.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rohan Gupta from Edelweiss. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi Sunil sir, good evening and congratulations on such a strong set of numbers. Sir, can you hear me?
Ha, Rohanji, we can hear you very well.
Yeah. Sir, a couple of questions. Sir, first is that such a strong volume growth for the quarter, roughly 25%, despite that we're seeing that such a sharp price increase is definitely affecting the HPC industry. So where this volume growth is, sir, coming from, I just wanted to understand that whether it's the premiumization in the economy which is helping you in gaining market from the high-end product categories where probably we had earlier low presence, or we are gaining market share across the board, or we are replacing imports. So if you just can give some sense and of the 25% growth, how it has come, and also if some sense on the industry growth on the similar product categories, sir.
So, Rohanji, thank you for the good words you said. One thing which is the hallmark for Rossari is execution, as we said, and the supply chain execution helped us, a lot in this quarter. One thing also was our financial strength. We still continue to remain a debt-free company, both in terms of, CCO and term loan. Because of our financial strength, we could get a lot of excess or raw material ordered so that, we don't face any trouble in supply chain shortages and we are able to feed the customers. But many of our customers, Rohanji, were not able to do it. Yeah. And many of our suppliers were not able to do it. And this gave us an opportunity to replace them in many of these customers. Of course, we had new introductions, especially in the home care segment, which did very well. In the personal care, which is also we had a lot of new introduction and products which did very well. As we said, the textile specialty chemicals, the market is booming, and the animal nutrition also, the demand position was good, and we had the raw material in place. And this has helped us definitely. You can see the amount of volume growth and the amount of sales growth, we were able to feed the customers because we had the raw materials.
Got it, sir. And sir, in our business, generally we see that the EBITDA growth will be a function of volume growth and the product mix change which we can introduce in our company. So you mentioned that you have definitely improved the average realization, and product mix change has helped you, like from 50 rupees per kg product, you've gone to 100 rupees per kg. So definitely your margin, if it was 7.5, it will definitely not 15, it will be more than that. So I understand that probably EBITDA margins on per kg basis have improved because of that. So how do you see, sir, going forward? Definitely in the current volatile scenario, we are seeing some delays in passing on the input cost. But how much scope you see for the volume growth on a sustainable basis for next 1 to 2 years? And how much scope you see that there is there for the product mix change in terms of margin at absolute level, if not can give in a percentage, but in terms of absolute level that can give us some sense that how much EBITDA growth will be driven by volume and how much EBITDA growth can come from the improvement in the product basket and improvement in EBITDA per kg over next 2 to 3 years, sir.
Rohanji, this kind of price inflation in the specialty or the raw material chemicals raw material is not going to sustain, but we do not know when this will end. So at this moment, our customers, when we discuss informally with them, we meet them, we talk to them on the phone, they are also all in pressure, which you can see many listed companies in all the verticals we operate in, they have come under pressure on account of margins. So they tell us भाई तुम्हारा per kilo margin तुम्हारा same रखो या थोड़ा बढ़ाओ, but you don't increase that same. And at this moment, we need to work with our customers like partners. We cannot, try to increase, our profits substantially and put them into trouble. So this is a partnership in which Rossari has a very good goodwill in terms of customers' mindset. And this, what we did is, at this moment, we say that हमने last quarter में 37 crore कमाया, इस quarter में 44 crores कमाएंगे. If we are able to maintain this 44 crores over 37 crores is 20% EBITDA improvement quarter on quarter. And if we are able to do this, being a debt-free company, and we are able to supply to the customer and collect money in time, I think this is a phenomenally good performance from our company.
Okay. And so just last from my side, sir, we have seen two successful integration of the inorganic growth in a very short period of time. So you definitely have created a formula for success through inorganic growth. Just wanted to understand, sir, how do you see that the growth opportunity going forward, and how you will like to replicate this? I mean, whether the focus over next couple of years will be more on driving the growth through inorganic route, or you see that this is a time for consolidation, take back, and first focus more on consolidating these two entities over next 2 to 3 years, and then only take any further decision over the inorganic growth. So
right, this is the time, Rohanji, for consolidation. We have done 550 crores of acquisition. We need to digest these acquisitions well, create synergies within the companies, improve the performance metrics and efficiencies of each parameter of finance, of profitability, of production, of per product cost. And this will be the focus. And now, as you see, for the new businesses, we have taken two good senior people, Mr. Debashish Vanikar, who comes from Pidilite, and he has, a marquee, experience with Aditya Birla Group and Asian Paints and Procter & Gamble in the past. So Debashish ji would be leading the new businesses, and he would be focusing on, making this consolidation very beneficial for Rossari. Similarly, Mr. Ketan Sablok comes from a very good experience in Navin Fluorine, and he is, going to lead the financial integration and consolidation. So for the next few quarters, we have no plans for any new inorganic acquisitions. We need to consolidate this and make this, very successful. From April, we see availability of EO, and then the performance of these two companies could improve once we have availability of ethylene oxide in the market.
Thank you very much, sir, and all the best for your future performance. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rohanji. Happy Diwali.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rohit Nagraj from Emkay Global. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Thanks for the opportunity, and congrats on good set of numbers. So the first question is, just now you talked again about ethylene oxide availability. So how is the availability currently, and what was the reason that availability got impacted during the last quarter?
Rohit, namaste. And the ethylene oxide, there was outages in various different plants of Reliance, and that was the reason it was across the country for all ethylene oxide consumers, and that is why we have shortages of this. Reliance has assured that it will improve from April.
Okay, so another 6 months you will have issues in terms of normalized availability. It will be more or less like rationing of the ethylene oxide.
No, Reliance has been normally very, very good in ensuring that we get at least 90% of whatever we lifted in the last year. So we have been able to get 100%, of the whatever was the consumption. But we have done expansion at Tristar, and that is where we require higher amount of ethylene oxide, and we are not getting it. So we are not able to utilize the new capacity at Tristar. But also we have had some vacant capacity at Unitop, which we propose to do it in the next year.
Right. Sir, on the integration part, as I understand that in Tristar, the earlier management had a certain amount of fixed remuneration for a party every single year, So now, since we have Mr. Debashish handling the entire integration and CEO of the business, would this be going off eventually in the next few quarters as the integration proceeds, and that benefit probably will start accruing to us?
So I think Mr. Debashish will take some time to get a grip of the business and to do the acquisition, basically how to merge it with Rosari's business. And therefore, I think we are looking at a 6 months to 1 year timeline before the other proprietors who are running the other companies can be eased, basically.
Right. Got it. And Edward sir, just one bit of question on the R&D front. Currently, how things are looking at based on our collaboration with the IIT lab as well. So how are the things in terms of new product pipeline, and what are the product introductions that we have planned for the next couple of years or so? Thank you.
So our R&D is in full swing. However, because of the firefighting that is happening in the marketplace, our sales teams are really busy with maintaining sales and getting more sales from existing customers because of supply gaps by other suppliers. But in the R&D segment, we have many concepts in the textile field. We have a green salt which is ready. We have a green hydro which is already being introduced in the market. We have green silicate that goes into the industry. We have nano antimicrobial products that we have ready for launch. We have some products even in the silicone area, where we have the silicone wetting agents as well as the silicone hydrophilics that are ready. As we said recently at the beginning of our talk, that polyester resin has been made ready now for sizing. So a large number of products and ideas are already ready with us, and the pipeline is for the next 2 years is in place. However, I think in the next 1 quarter, we will focus more on maintaining sales and growing sales because of short supply by other suppliers, because of a very strong position in RM as well as in the production.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, and Diwali wishes to everyone.
Thank you. Happy Diwali to you too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question for today. I now hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for the time. I hope we have been able to answer all your questions satisfactorily. Should you need any further clarifications or would like to know more about the company, please be free to contact our team or CDR India. Thank you once again for taking the time to join us on this call, and wishing you all a very, very happy Diwali and a happy and prosperous New Year. Thank you very much.
Thank you. On behalf of Rosari Biotech Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.